and welcome to Guiding Star Astrology. I'm Kesenya, I'm your Astro Weather Girl, here with this week's Astro Weather Report. Thanks so much for joining me. We're going to explore what's going on in the skies this week. Now, it is going to be a very interesting week because we've got a really interesting change, an interesting shift in dynamic, an interesting shift in energy unfolding for us all. But before I get to that, I do want to just mention, because of this change, this shift in energy, I'm offering my webinars, all two of them, and I'm building more. I'm in the process of creating more. But both my webinars, the Astrology of Many Marriages, how to see if you will marry more than once in your chart, and or have a serious connected relationship more than once, plus my other webinar, the Techniques of Hindu Astrology. They're both for sale at $10 off on my website www.guidingstar.astrology.com at the moment, and that is because for the next couple of days, just under a week, next 6 days, we're going to have Jupiter at the final degrees of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is here. Sagittarius rules higher learning, knowledge, inspiration. It rules understanding and wisdom. So this is why I'm offering my webinars, which are extended knowledge, extended astrological wisdom, I hope. I'm offering them to you for a discounted price for this final week of Jupiter being in the sign that it rules of knowledge and higher learning. Once it goes into Capricorn, I will remove my special off my website, so make the most of that now. That's the factor that I want to look at this week. Jupiter going into the sign of Capricorn. This is a very interesting time. I'd love to say it's going to be a fabulous time, but in reality, Jupiter is leaving its sign that it rules, Sagittarius. It rules Sagittarius. It's in charge of Sagittarius. The energy of Sagittarius and Jupiter correlate quite extensively. And so Jupiter has a lot of power in Sagittarius, and now it's about to move into Capricorn. We're going to explore what that means. Probably not quite as sparkly, shall we say, as the last year that we've had with Jupiter in the sign of Sagittarius. And it's going to leave, just so you know, it's going to be leaving Sagittarius on the 3rd of December. That's Tuesday, the 3rd of December in Australia. It'll be in some parts of the world the 2nd of December. And this will be happening at 5 a.m. in the morning in Australia. So work out where you are in the world from Australian Eastern Standard Time. And you'll be able to determine what time that will be for you in your part of the world. Now, of course, we're looking at tropical astrology for this shift, this change from Sagittarius to Capricorn. I utilize techniques from various schools, one of which is Gemini astrology, which is essentially Vedic techniques applied to a tropical astrology chart. So just for people, I often get people asking me, do you use Vedic or do you use tropical? Well, it's actually sidereal that is the chart system utilized by Vedic astrologers, but that's not what I work with. I work with techniques from the Hindu or Gemini system, and I apply them to the tropical chart, and that's why we're looking at Jupiter moving from Sagittarius into Capricorn. If you're a sidereal chart user, then Jupiter is not changing signs at the moment. You don't need to worry about this. It's not applying to you. I'm not going to go into here. I just reiterate this. I say it all the time. I don't go into the discussion and the debate between tropical astrology versus sidereal astrology. There is a fabulous video by Ernst Wilhelm explaining why tropical astrology works. I highly recommend you check that out if you haven't done so already. It will help you understand where I'm coming from with the teaching that I incorporate. So I'm using tropical astrology. This is the tropical astrology chart for the 3rd of December this year. And we are actually, when Jupiter moves into Capricorn, we will be beginning our journey towards the grand conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn, which is going to be happening on the 15th of December 2020. So in about a year's time, Jupiter, the two great planets, great social planets, Saturn, the great malefic, Jupiter, the great benefic, will be conjoining in the sky. And this will be happening at the anaretic degree. of Capricorn, which is the final degree of Capricorn. It's a fated degree. I'll talk more about that next year. So make sure you tune in and subscribe so that you don't miss out on my video discussing that as we get closer to the advent of that particularly profound and wonderful great conjunction and what it's going to mean for us all. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. Don't miss out on that one down the track. But we are heading towards that period now. Jupiter is moving into Capricorn and Saturn has been there roughly nearly 2.5 years at this stage. 2 years, got a little bit of a way to go yet. But both these planets, malefic and benefic, are joining in the same sign now. So this is significant. The journey towards the conjunction begins now. So we're going to explore, Saturn's in his rulership, Saturn, it rules Capricorn, and so Jupiter is leaving his rulership and moving into the rulership sign of Capricorn. We're going to be, of Saturn in Capricorn, and we're going to be looking at what this now means. So what is Capricorn? Well, Capricorn is actually what we call a negative sign. Now, this doesn't mean bad stuff. It doesn't mean you're negative and pessimistic and that sort of thing if you have strong Capricorn in your chart. What we're looking at here is sort of a duality. In astrology, as in most things in life, there is the yin and yang type equation. And with Capricorn, it is the negative charge, like a battery. Whereas, say, Aquarius is the more positive. It is a positive sign. Pisces, negative. Aries, positive, and so on. So we have these charges, so to speak, and they represent different things. Now, for example, Capricorn and Aquarius are both ruled by Saturn, but Aquarius is a positive sign, Capricorn is a negative. Aquarius is more externalized, outgoing, social, connected. Capricorn is more internalized, focused inward, the more quiet of the two, even though they're governed by the same planet. So Capricorn is this negative charge. So it's the more internalized, quiet, introspective kind of energy as a sign in itself. It's also an earth sign, and you'll see on my wheel all the earth signs are green: Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. Just for note, in case you hadn't picked up on it, all the air signs are yellow, all the fire signs are pinky red, and all the water signs are blue, naturally. So I hope that helps spell things out for you when you're following along with me on my wheel. But Capricorn is an earth sign, and therefore it carries earthy qualities to it. It's very practical. It likes stability. It is associated with hard work. All the earth signs are connected to working hard in some capacity. Taurus perhaps a little bit sort of lazy, but it will work for the material acquisitions that it desires. It will put in that grounded effort. So they are signs correlated with work, and of course Taurus is about making money, so there is work associated with doing that for most people. So hard work, stability are earth signs, and the material realm is very much the earth signs, as the name implies. The earth that we live on is very much the tangible, the things we can touch, the things we can taste, the things we can see, the things we can smell, the tangible, earthly, bodily reality that we are functioning in as a soul in a human shell, functioning in a three-dimensional earth reality. And so that's what these three signs correlate to, these particular things, the earth reality that we live in. Water signs are much more spiritual. They're off in the ether. Air signs are more logical, in the mind, in the head. And fire signs are much more about drive and energy and action. So that's just a very, very brief documentation of those energies, the elements. But yes, Capricorn is an earth sign, so it carries those qualities to it. Capricorn is a bit like Saturn, and it does correlate to sort of a desire or a need, if you want to call it that, to settle for the devil that we know. So it likes tradition. It likes heritage. It likes where we've come from. It likes to maintain the status quo. It likes the rules. It's not all about lots of change, because it is this energy, this sign that's all about maintaining the status quo, settling for the devil we know rather than the devil we don't. It has this quality to it, Capricorn, of the familiar. It correlates to the mundane. And when I say the mundane, I'm not saying, oh, yawn, yawn, boring. I'm saying the everyday, ordinary reality. Not the pie in the sky, I'm, dreaming of winning Tats Lotto, or I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to be the next Academy Award winning actress, or, it's not off in the ether like that. It is about the mundane, ordinary, everyday reality, living day to day in your little town, wherever that happens to be in the world, doing your job, having your relationships, having your friendships, just ordinary, everyday life is Capricorn in the mundane sense. Ordinary things, it is connected to rules, it is connected to structure as well. Like the planet that rules it, Saturn, Capricorn likes the rules, it likes structure, it sees the need for those things, it wants to bring those things to our ordinary everyday reality actually. Capricorn is also very focused, it's very much driven. It knows what it wants to achieve. It can set a goal and go for it and make it manifest. It's hardworking towards that end as well. It is the most hardworking sign, really. Virgo also very hardworking, but Capricorn will really be diligent and just push with hard work to achieve what it wants to in life. It's a very strategic sign as well. It has a connection. This is why Mars is exalted in Capricorn. Mars is like the god of war in ancient mythology, and here in the sign of strategy, Capricorn is to have a strategic plan, to know where you're going, to sort of head towards your goal and take action towards your goal. Mars, the great god of war, like the strategy of war, the having a strategic approach with your energy. Mars loves to be in Capricorn because it gives it this strategic approach to the implementation of its energy. There are lots of other really cool things about Mars in Capricorn, but that's not what this video is about, so I'm not going to go deep down that rabbit hole for you today. Just sort of went off on a little bit of a tangent there, as I want to do. But it is very strategic. Capricorn is a strategic sign. It's very success-oriented. It likes to achieve. It likes to see rewards. It likes to see tangible material world results for the effort that it puts in. It likes to see social status happening, like getting a promotion or getting a raise or getting recognition for our hard work, for our endeavors, for our strategic, rule-driven approach to what we want to manifest in life. It is a patient sign and very much connected to waiting till the right time. It's not there in a flash. It's not a sprinter. It's the long distance marathon runner. It will work hard. Capricorn people will work hard for their long-term goals. So it's very long range, not instantaneous. It's about endurance and perseverance towards its end. It's a very responsible sign. So it's the father figure, someone who takes their responsibility as a leader in their family very seriously. It's a serious sign. So, we think about that the good father figure, let's think about that. And we see, father figures who are mature, hardworking, dedicated, committed, passionate about their family. These are Capricornian energies in a beautiful sense. It is traditional, as I've already alluded to, and that can be good or bad, depending on how you carry Capricorn in your chart and what planets are there and so on. But Capricorn is traditional, and there are some traditions definitely worth keeping, worth honoring, worth maintaining, and Capricorn is the torchbearer for those things, really. It is mature, as I've said, and it is structured. It likes organization, it likes structure. Capricorn is very much connected to hierarchies, having the CEO and then the middle management and then the plebs at the bottom. Capricorn gets off on that. It likes to know there's organization, that things are, there is structure. Now, for me, who is very non-Capricornian, I hate structure. I hate sort of the fact that we live in, oh golly, now I'm going on a tangent, that we live in a world with so many political systems where there's some top dog up the top and everybody else is running around like minions. I can't stand that, and bring on the anarchism, but that's a whole other story. But that's the contrast. The contrast between the two is to have like a pyramidal system where there's somebody at the top of the tree, a few people down below, a few more people below them, and then everybody else. Very much is the nature of Capricorn, these hierarchical, structured organizational systems, compared to, say, an Aquarian model, which is more everybody has a say, everyone is equal, everyone's opinion is valued, we work together, we're a community, we are joined with a similar purpose and a vision here, which is much more my style. Anyhow, enough of that. That's Capricorn for us in a nutshell. So that's where Jupiter is heading. And what does Jupiter represent? What's its deal? What does it want to bring us in terms of its energy in our chart and in our lives? Well, I adore Jupiter. Who doesn't adore Jupiter? The great bennific planet. It's our expression. Jupiter, wherever it sits in our chart natally, it is our representation or our expression of expansion, where we can expand to meet our destiny. Now, let's say, just for example, if you have Jupiter in the 10th house natally, that is where you can best expand to meet your destiny through career, through social achievement, through social status and leadership. That's where you can expand most to meet your destiny. That's what Jupiter represents. So look where Jupiter falls in your natal chart. That's the realm you can most expand in to achieve your destiny. That's one thing Jupiter represents. It represents belief systems, and this can be religious belief systems or spiritual belief systems, and they're both very different. But they're represented by Jupiter because Jupiter rules both the signs correlated to religion and spirituality. Mostly we see religion from Sagittarius, and we see spirituality coming from the sign of Pisces. So that more ethereal, sometimes ceremonial, but much more divine, angelic, inspirational connectivity is seen through Pisces, whereas the more, perhaps more logical, no, that's probably not the right word, but more learned kind of approach, like the knowledge of the Bible and the knowledge of the Quran, and having that wisdom, if you like, about the religious structures is seen more through Sagittarius. But Jupiter also correlates to faith. Wherever Jupiter sits is where you will have, if Jupiter is well aspected and not in bad dignity, where you will have great faith, great belief and trust in the preeminent goodness of the universe, that it's got your back, that you're here for a purpose. Jupiter also represents where our good karma sits from past lives. I talked about that in my video a couple of weeks ago about Jupiter conjunct the Galactic Center. That is still in play. If you would like to check that video out on my YouTube page, my YouTube channel, Kesenya More, then you will see, you can hunt down that video, and it will give you a lot of insight about the reaping of the rewards of our past life, good karma that's unfolding at the moment. Jupiter is also our expression or the capacity for abundance in our chart. So again, if you had Jupiter in the 10th house, you may have a great capacity to manifest abundance in career. So look where Jupiter is and you'll see where you are most capable of generating abundance in your life. Jupiter represents growth, where things will grow, where we will blossom, where we can bloom most. Again, that's a correlation to the abundance idea. Prosperity is Jupiter as well. So for you, he's connected to wealth. And so where Jupiter sits in your chart can show you where you can actually generate wealth. Now, we need to take the whole chart into context, which is what I do when I provide readings for people. If you want me to look at money for you, then there's a number of things that we look at to see where money can best be generated for you throughout your life. But Jupiter is one of the things we look at, and Jupiter is prosperity, abundance on the larger scale. Venus is the planet of prosperity or money, really. On a lesser scale, Jupiter is the big scale. So where Jupiter sits is very important for determining financial abundance and growth. Now, Jupiter is also optimism. Jupiter is where, if our Jupiter is healthy in the chart, we have great faith, and we also have great buoyancy of character, where that smiley, big personality extraordinaire, and we're always glass half full kind of a person if Jupiter is healthy in the chart. The opposite's often true if Jupiter is smashed to smithereens, but if we have a healthy Jupiter, we're going to be more optimistic, because that's what Jupiter represents and what Jupiter brings us. He's our joy, the planet of joy. He gives us joy. And so Jupiter is very indicative of where we're gleaning our joy from. I'll keep using Jupiter in the 10th house as an example. If you have Jupiter in the 10th house natally, then your joy will come from being in a position of social status or leadership. Your joy will come from being recognized and having, a sense of appreciation from the world for the good that you've done, for the person that you are, for the character that you embody. It's through social status, achievement, and career that you will gain your sense of joy and happiness. Jupiter also represents inspirational figures, people who inspire us, people who uplift us, people who mentor us, our gurus. Jupiter in Vedic astrology is actually known as guru. And so he represents people who are up on that pedestal for us, that we look to, that inspire us, that uplift us. That's Jupiter. Plus, for a woman in Gemini astrology, Jupiter represents the husband, and Vedic astrology too. So wherever Jupiter sits in your chart can give you an indication of the type of husband and the quality level of the husband that you may be looking for. And there's different quality levels and different characteristics. So if you're interested in that, by all means do get a reading with me. We can look at what might be coming up for you in relationships and with regard to partnership. If you're a woman looking for a husband, you might not be looking for a husband. We live in times when we can, live our whole lifetime as live-in partners rather than putting a ring on the finger. So when I say husband, that's what I'm talking about. It's the old-fashioned term for just a cohabitation or a partner, committed partnership relationship that we find ourselves in. So where is Jupiter in your chart? That's where you'll find your joy. That's where you can generate more joy. So if you're wanting to know how to bring more joy into your life, check out where your Jupiter falls, because that is your antidote or your capacity to bring more joy into your life. So for example, if you were born with a Jupiter in the 5th house, you might get more joy from your hobbies. If you were born with Jupiter in your 8th house, you might get more joy from practicing astrology or studying occult or getting into herbalism or something that's a more hidden occult type thing in the 8th house. Wherever Jupiter sits is where you can garner more joy. So what is going to happen for us all on a collective level when Jupiter moves into Capricorn on the 3rd of December or the 2nd, depending where you are in the world? Well, it is going to be interesting times, and I'm going to talk collectively now. Generally speaking, of course, Jupiter falls somewhere uniquely in your chart based on where he was at that moment you took your first breath as you exited your mother's body and entered the material realm of Earth that we live in. Wherever Jupiter fell at that time tells you where you get your joy from, but it will also tell you so much about Jupiter's influence in your life. And based on these things, your natal chart, Jupiter's move into Capricorn is going to have a different effect for us all. What's going to be aspecting these planets, Jupiter here, from your natal chart? What is going to, maybe you've got a natal planet here, sitting here in Capricorn, and Jupiter makes a connection with that. Boom, it's going to be a different effect for you than it would be for someone with nothing in Capricorn. So when I'm talking about what's going to unfold, I'm talking at a very general, broad brushstroke level, not you in intimate detail, because you need to look at your chart compared to where the planets are right now to know those intimate details. This is much more general. Please keep that in mind as we go through these points. But in general, Jupiter in Capricorn is going to bring us a combination of Jupiterian qualities and Capricornian qualities. So we're going to have more growth, Jupiter, of organizations, of ethics. Jupiter rules ethics. We're going to have more integrity and maturity now. That's going to grow in us, our sense of integrity and doing things by the rules, playing it right. And our maturity will grow through this process. Jupiter's going to be here for a year, and through this time in Capricorn, our maturity levels are going to increase. We're going to have more of a need now with Jupiter in Capricorn for practicality, because as I said, this is an earth sign. It's very practically oriented. So we are going to become more practical. That's going to expand in us. We're going to want more practicality in our lives, more material earthiness in our life. We're going to have an expanded sense of a need to do, need to achieve, need to accomplish, which is the nature of Capricorn. Jupiter in Sagittarius can make us take a few more risks in life, step out of our comfort zone and have a crack. It's an adventurous sign, Sagittarius. Capricorn's kind of the opposite. It likes to play it safe and play by the rules. So our risk-taking is going to lessen now. We're going to be less inclined to take that adventurous next step in life. We're going to have more of a hunger for clarity and clearness of direction now, because Capricorn is strategic. Like I said, it's got a plan. It's going to stick to it. It knows where it's going. That's where I'm heading, and that's how I'm going to get there, step by step by step. Jupiter now is going to increase that desire for clarity of direction and strategy. So he's going to grow that quality of Capricorn. And what Jupiter in Capricorn would tend to bring is more gradual, slow progress to growth and achievement. So when he's in Sagittarius, we can have sudden lucky windfalls, lucky breaks. We put a video up and it just, it goes viral. And that's the luck of Sagittarius. Wow, who knew that would be the video to really rocket launch away on YouTube, or whatever circumstance you're talking about. Lucky breaks, taking risks, stepping in out of the known into the unknown, and seeing things take a rocket launch. Now in Capricorn, Jupiter is going to bring growth, but it's going to be much more of a steady, solid result of our hard work that's going to come. So we can achieve a lot with Jupiter in Capricorn, but the achievement's going to come through steadiness, perseverance, and endurance, which are qualities of Capricorn. So Jupiter in Capricorn can bring a great deal of achievement, but it comes with patience. So it's more now for us all about our long-range forecast, what's happening into the distance, our strategic approach. That is where we're going to see success, our long-range plans, our long-range ideals. You might even I've already started doing this, and we're 6 days out from this change, but my gears have shifted already into what do I want to achieve in the long term, in a few years' time? Where do I want to be? What do I want my life to look at? How can I build towards that now? Whereas back about 4 weeks ago, I was much more about what's happening in the moment. How can I generate activity now? Now I'm starting to think more long range, and this is a result of the energetic. I'm highly Jupiterian, and I'm probably getting there already. You might be sensing and picking up on this already as well. This energy of Jupiter in Capricorn. What is my long-term vision? Now, success and growth, when it comes, and as it comes slowly and steadily, and with regard to long-range plans, when success and growth comes, which is Jupiter-ruled qualities, it's going to endure. And it's going to endure because Capricorn is a very enduring, persevering, patient sign. So when we receive something during the time that Jupiter is in Capricorn, it will last. It will be permanent. It will stick around. It's not going to come and go, like disappear really quickly. It's not a mutable sign. Often this is going to be material things that manifest for us as well that will stick around. Maybe we'll get a new home, or maybe we'll buy a new car or something. And when Jupiter is in Capricorn, the things that we have acquired or worked towards, or we wanted to save for this particular type of car or whatever, then we'll have that car for a long time, and it will stick around, and it will be with us for the long haul rather than a quick flash in the pan. So Jupiter's blessings when they're in Capricorn are actually a little more subdued. In fact, quite a good deal more subdued than they were in Sagittarius, because Jupiter is moving from its own sign into the sign of Saturn. And these two, Saturn, as I said before, Saturn and Jupiter are like the yin-yang. They're like polaric opposites in energy. One is the great malefic, one is the great benefic, as I said. So Jupiter kind of gets a bit heavier in Capricorn. It's a heavy sign, whereas this is Sagittarius is light and fresh. So here in Capricorn, there is a heaviness that comes to Jupiterian qualities of optimism, buoyancy, big charismatic personalities, and outgoing, and very upbeat kind of personality of Jupiter. Now in Capricorn, things can get a little bit weightier. Not bad, but just those qualities of abundance and growth and prosperity and expansion, they get lessened by being in this heavier sign of Capricorn. But the good thing about this that I want to point out is that Saturn is in Capricorn at the moment, and he's been doing his Saturnian thing there, which is on the lower manifesting levels, it's blockage, it's restriction, it's holding back. Higher manifestation of Saturnian qualities are things like maturity, wisdom, endurance, perseverance, taking responsibility, not shirking your duty, these kinds of things Saturn brings. And so he's been doing these things for us in wherever Capricorn falls in our chart. But now that Jupiter moves in, we're going to find that we're much more oriented towards a balancing out of these two energies, where Saturn's heaviness will lessen now that Jupiter is there. Also, Jupiter's buoyancy will lessen as well, but because Jupiter is going to balance things out, the scales are going to even up. We're going to find that Saturn becomes a little less heavy for us now too. Yay! So that will be very nice to be felt as well. Saturn, I will point out, does have the upper hand here because he is in his rulership. Jupiter, not so much. Jupiter's not in its rulership, but Saturn's in his own sign. Jupiter is in his fall, and a planet is in its fall when it sits opposite it's a sign of exaltation. So Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, which means it's in its fall in the opposite sign of Capricorn. And so being in fall, when Jupiter is in fall, it's not going to allow Jupiter the freedom to pour out his gifts to us as he would usually do in a wonderful sign for him like Sagittarius. So again, that element of restriction comes in. We can still be lucky, we can still be blessed, but these are going to manifest, like I said before, in long-term ways now, not in instantaneous ways where we run to the sprint to the finish line and run through the ribbon. It's going to be much more, running that marathon now. And we can be lucky and blessed with that marathon run. Or we can also find that we are lucky and blessed through being involved with structures and hierarchies. So, for example, that might be businesses that have those management levels that I outlined before, or being involved in politics, or being involved in legal systems or governmental systems, all these organizations that are very top-down kind of approach, that structural pyramidal approach with CEO at the top and everyone else down below. It's in those kind of areas and businesses and circumstances that we can have more luck and blessing now with Jupiter in the sign of Capricorn. Also, religions are actually very much the top-down approach. A lot of traditional religions where you've got your minister or your priest and they're out there like some big guru and everyone else is down there. Any type of religions that have that kind of thing going on, not my style, but that is where you can see a lot of expansion and growth and luck and prosperity if you're associated with organizations like that. Again, Jupiter is connected to religion, like I said, and here we're talking about highly structured religion with your guru or your priest or whatever who's up the top and, given a position above everybody else, that sort of thing. Now, work can also become more pleasurable because remember, Jupiter is joy, and where Jupiter goes, he brings joy. And so your work, your career, your maybe striving for social status and achievement can be a source now of more joy for you as well, which can be really great. If you enjoy your career already, you're going to love it even more. Now, we can also find that during this time of Jupiter in Capricorn for another year, we might get more acknowledgement or mentoring from our elders, from wise wisdom keepers, because this is the sign correlated to father figures, those mentor people, the bosses, the CEOs, the sort of people who are higher up than us, essentially. And with Jupiter here, the guru planet and the expansion planet, we can get more mentoring, more acknowledgement from these people, more recognition from people in higher positions of authority. It can mean the growth of our public image, the growth of our reputation when Jupiter is in Capricorn. It can also mean the blossoming of relationships with the elderly, with people who are a good deal older than us. So at this time, Jupiter can expand and grow our connections with older figures, the elders in our community, the wise people. Might have more to do with people in old age homes, and get more joy out of connecting with older people who've got more wisdom to share. So equally, we can get more mentoring now and inspiration from Saturnian style people. Remember, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So if you know somebody who is a very rule-driven person and structure-oriented person, a hardworking person, a mature person, someone who's very stoic, as qualities of Saturn, then it's these people that might provide a source of mentoring and support for you now, and inspiration for you now, like they may have not done while Jupiter was in the sign of Sagittarius. So that's another thing that can manifest now. You might find, depending on how your chart is configured, that you can receive more promotions and recognition now that come your way. This is Capricorn is associated with climbing up in social status and raising up higher in social status, and Jupiter can expand your opportunities to do so now. So more promotions, more recognition, that sort of thing. Now, on the more challenging side, we've mentioned a few challenges that this is going to bring. On the more challenging side, Jupiter in Capricorn can actually bring more workaholism, where we take on too much. We have an overinflated idea of what we can achieve and how hard we're able to work. And so we just go overboard, working too hard, striving too hard, aiming beyond what's realistic in terms of what we can achieve socially on the social ladder of things. Being overly optimistic about what we can achieve career-wise and in leadership positions and so on. Expecting too much of ourselves in career, expecting too much of ourselves in leadership and social status positions. I want to say, if you are a woman, which is half the population and the majority of people who watch my videos, we need to be wary, ladies, of placing our career ahead of our partner for the next year. And this is simply because in Capricorn, Jupiter loses its energy, and Jupiter in Vedic and Gemini astrology rules partners or husbands. And so at this time, Capricorn has the stronger upper hand over Jupiter. And, it's a good thing for a woman to have a career. I'm very much the feminist. It's great. But you don't want to lose your relationship because career, you become that career-driven woman that hasn't got time for family and home and partnership if you're in a partnership. So be conscious of keeping the balance there, keeping the harmony there for the next year. Give time and attention to your relationships. It's an important component of life. So you will need to focus more on this now and make a more concerted effort in that realm, as career is likely to want to take the front seat. It's all about balance, isn't it? And we want to keep balance between these things. So keep that in mind throughout the year ahead so that one doesn't suffer at the expense of the other. We actually can feel a bit more pessimistic from time to time now because, our usual planet of joy is now in its fall and it's become a little bit thwarted in its joyful energy. So the best outcome for this combo is that we'll actually have a more realistic outlook towards our life and our circumstances and our relationships, rather than a pessimistic one. So, aim for realism in times when you're feeling really low. And watch out for expansion, because Jupiter is expansion of any worries and fears. This is a sign that can be a bit prone to worrying and being fearful. Do I have enough? Am I shored up for the future? Can I rise up and get that promotion? I've been trying so hard, and when am I going to get my rewards? And you worry and you fear and you generate this sort of energy, negative energy. So don't forget to exercise your trust muscles at this time. Let go and let God a little bit. The more you can do that, the more this is going to sort of balance out for you too. So if you need help balancing Jupiter while Jupiter is in his fall throughout the coming year, then I'd encourage you to look at these very Jupiterian activities as a good manifestations of Jupiter. And the more you can do these things and take time for these things, the more you're going to lift up your Jupiter. So doing yoga, creating some mantras and putting little mantras up all over the house, doing meditation, doing prayer, setting aside regular structured, Capricorn in structure, structured times for doing these things. Have a good agenda and stick to it, and you will actually be really generating some high quality Jupiterian energy then. Reading spiritual books, doing some charity work. Jupiter is charity. You could also wear lapis lazuli, the crystal associated, one of the crystals associated with Jupiter. You could eat purple or orange colored foods, things like plums, things like oranges. That's actually why I'm wearing orange today. It's sort of a peachy orange color, but I want to channel the energy of Jupiter, and black is Saturn, so connected to the sign of Capricorn, the ruler of the sign of Capricorn. So I've got my Jupiter-Saturn combo happening today. So these are some of the remedies that you might like to do. Wearing, orange, wearing purple. These are Jupiterian colors that can lift that Jupiterian energy, if that's something you feel that you need to do to balance things out over the coming year. So in a nutshell, that is Jupiter moving into the sign of Capricorn for the next year ahead. But as you can see by looking up here, for us this week, this coming week, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4 planets in the sign of Capricorn. Jupiter, Venus, Saturn and Pluto, plus the South Node is still there for another little while as well. So we've got so much energy in the sign of Capricorn. In the Vedic system, when we have 4 or more planets in a sign, it stirs up and generates the energy of that particular sign or house. And we're going to go through and look at where that's falling for everybody. But this is big time energy because we've got 3 slow moving planets. We've got Saturn, Jupiter and Pluto. They're the slower moving planets, and so this is rare to have these all together in Capricorn. It doesn't happen often. I mean, Venus comes around pretty much once a year through each sign. That's quite common. Jupiter is 12 years before it gets back to the sign, in this case Capricorn. So it's 12 years since Jupiter has been in Capricorn. If you want to know about how that's affected you, or how it affected you last time Jupiter was in Capricorn, check out what was going on in your life 12 years ago. I was pregnant with my daughter. Hopefully that doesn't repeat with another pregnancy now. No thanks. But also Saturn takes 30 years, roughly 28, 29, to do a whole circuit, and so it's that long since Saturn has been in Capricorn. And Pluto, well, none of us were alive to remember the last time Pluto was in Capricorn, which was about 240 years ago. So that is the length of time we're looking at with Pluto, a very rare occurrence to be incarnated at this moment for us with Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. So that's what we're looking at, this long, intense energy of these outer planets, or more outer planets in Capricorn. So it is bringing a lot of momentum to wherever Capricorn falls in our chart. A lot of energy is there. So depending on where Capricorn falls in your personal chart is where all this intense energy is going. And I want to encourage you, if you know any astrology, try to manifest the higher level of the house that Capricorn is in your chart, because some of these planets are pretty heavy duty. And if you focus, let's just say you're an Aquarius rising person and you've got Capricorn as your 12th house. Now, if you're focusing on past life heavy duty karma and that's bubbling up in you, you might be paying back karmic debts for many, many lifetimes, and your life is just, so hard at the moment. Like hell you've never been through, because there's all this karmic debt that keeps popping up. Fortunately, Jupiter might ease that off a little bit for you in the coming month or so as Jupiter moves into Capricorn, but still you've got all this energy there. What's better is to focus the energy onto the higher manifestations of the 12th house, such as meditation, prayer, spiritual books, reading spiritual books, going and hanging out at an ashram, taking a holiday, going on a retreat. These higher nice quality, if you want to call them that, levels of the 12th house are going to be so much better for you and easier to carry than dealing with karmic shit or getting addicted to stuff or going down the road of drugs and alcohol abuse and whatever. These are some of the negative things that we see in the 12th house. So that's just an example. So look for where Capricorn falls in your chart, and it will tell you a lot about where you need to focus on the upper level, the higher manifestations of the house that it falls, to get you through this intense time when all the focus is in Capricorn. Let's talk a little bit about what a stellium does when we've got a stellium in our natal chart, and as we're all experiencing now by transit. Well, it's 4 or more planets in a sign. Generally, that's how it works. It's a combo that forms what we call a super planet, and it acts as one sort of highly charged creative force. So there's a lot of creative energy for manifestation. This is why the Vedics say when there's 4 or more planets in a sign, and they usually say directing energy to the sign opposite as well, that we get a stirring up of this energy, and this is where manifestation can then occur, creation can then occur, things can bubble up for us. So let's say you're a Capricorn rising person, where you're going to get more energy focused on yourself now, on you and who you are, as well as the sign opposite, marriage, partnership, connection with someone in a committed way. That is where energy is going to manifest for you guys. So look at where Capricorn Cancer axis is. This is where you're going to get a lot of creative force that will manifest things for you right now. It really does pack a whopping punch in life. It can actually, when we have a stellium in our natal chart, it can actually outshine the influence of the sun. So let's say we have a stellium in Capricorn, but the sun's in Gemini. Well, our Capricorn stellium is going to be more influential in our life than the sun is in Gemini. That's the nature of a stellium. It packs a whopping punch, depending on how strong the planets are. This is a really strong one. Anyone born with this now in the coming weeks, that's going to outshine the sun in Sag in their chart for them, because these planets are so intense and so strong because they're such slow moving planets. Hope that's making sense. So it gives a tremendous capacity, as well as a creative manifesting force. It gives a tremendous capacity in one area of life, as I've just sort of tried to illustrate, depending on which house Capricorn is in whole sign astrology for you. It indicates a special mission in life too. Like, there is a spiritual purpose to you being here that is really quite intense. You are here to focus on that area of your chart more than any other. If you were Aquarius and you had this going on, your focus has to be on 12th house things. Your intent with life purpose is to release old karma, yes, become a spiritual person, or to create some sort of retreat, escape for your soul in this incarnation. Hopefully that doesn't mean going to prison. Hopefully it means more like you establish a yoga ashram or something like that. So there is a big focus if you've got a stellium in a certain place in your chart, and a mission for your life that is connected to this stellium as well. So this is what it means when we've got a stellium falling in a particular sign. In this case, for all of us right now, we're feeling this manifestation energy falling in the sign of Capricorn. Now I want to actually go through all signs. So thanks for sticking around for the intro here. I want to go through all signs and look at what Jupiter will be bringing, and also what this stellium is going to be activating for us in all signs. So let's make a start. We're going to begin with Aries. I'll use my little pen here for a pointer. But if we've got Aries rising, then obviously Capricorn, where Jupiter is moving into, is the 10th house for an Aries rising person. So with Jupiter here, it means we're going to get more practical about 10th house things, more realistic, more down to earth. We're going to see more steady, solid, slow growth and more material growth in our life because of Jupiter's move in here in our 10th house, in career, in social status, in our ability to be recognized and honored in society, in our relationships with people who are above us in mentor positions, or more like CEOs and bosses and father figures, the elderly, older people. We are going to have much more of a connection with the elders in our society because of this. This is where we're going to have the greater material and social and slow, steady growth, as I described in the introduction to this video, and be more practical and more hardworking now for the next year in this realm. Also, with the stellium here falling in Capricorn, this is where you can generate more energy and more manifestation because of all these planets. So it's in career for you guys again, but it's also in family and home, because when in Vedic astrology we have 4 or more planets in a sign, it's the sign of and the sign opposite that receive, generally speaking, I'm talking on a very general level here, the oomph, the energy, the drive of this manifestation that's brought by the 4 planets as a stellium. So you guys are going to manifest materially in the coming week in career and home life. If we happen to be Taurus rising, well, this is making a beautiful trine, as you can see. Earth sign Taurus to earth sign Capricorn there. There's a beautiful trine falling, and this is putting the stellium in Capricorn in the 9th house. So we can expect that we're going to have more practical application, slow, steady growth, maybe material a growth and manifestation as well, coming from Jupiter being here, moving into this sign, and from this stellium energy in Capricorn in the 9th house. So what's this going to affect? It's going to affect your relationship with mentors and inspirational figures and gurus, your connection with, say, professors and people who teach higher knowledge type subjects, the law, religion, politics, these sorts of things, medicine, the kind of higher level learning, university style level learning, you're going to have, that's going to be energized for you. You might find that you want to travel now more when you've got this energy playing out. If you're a Taurus rising person, you might get the opportunity to travel, particularly long distances. You might also get really inspired to explore some sort of new cultural endeavor or new belief system of some sort as well. And of course, this is also impacting the 3rd house because it's opposite the 9th. So more teaching, more advertising, more marketing, more social connectivity, more networking, dealing with the internet and social media in some way. You might get manifestation happen in your life through that. You might sell a few things on Facebook, buy, swap and sell or something, or, connect with other people or siblings more, which is also 3rd house. You might be connecting with your siblings. So these are the realms that you're going to experience more manifestation and slow, steady growth over the next little while, particularly in the week ahead with this stellium here in Capricorn. Now, if you happen to be Gemini rising, Jupiter is moving into your 8th house. So you Gemini people, and I've said this a number of times in my forecasts, it's Gemini people, it's the air signs, but Gemini people and Aquarius people, you guys are going to experience most strongly the difficulties represented by these signs, because for Gemini rising, this stellium's in your 8th house. For Aquarius rising, and I'll talk about this when I get to their sign, this is happening in their 12th house. So these are difficult houses in the Gemini system. So for Gemini rising people, you guys are you're going to come out with a huge message for humanity after all this energy moves on from Capricorn in the next year or so. You will be the ones with a message for humanity that you have garnered through deep, introspective 8th house work. Jupiter moving here is going to lighten things up, though, a little for you. It's been very intense for you Gemini people for the last little while, but Jupiter's going to sort of give you a little bit of a breath of fresh air, which is wonderful. And this Jupiter movement into here is going to give you more practicality about 8th house matters, more slow, steady blessed growth and luck in 8th house matters, and more materially tangible growth. And of course, this is the house of other people's money. So you Gemini rising people might find that now there's some slow, steady growth around other people's money. Maybe there's been a trust fund established for you, and Jupiter's move into here sees that trust fund start to really generate some income. Maybe, you're living as a pensioner and you're living off your investments now for your superannuation and so forth. Now Jupiter here can see some more slow, steady, practically manifested growth with regard to those resources that are where your money's been put to use through other people, or where you are maybe managing other people's trust funds or money, or you doing something with other people's income. Maybe you've sorted out your tax, or you get a tax return from the government, and that comes back to you now. That's in a blessed way, in a lucky way, for the hard work that you have actually put in to your career, and the taxes that you've paid. So that's one realm, but occult things too. Maybe you will see more steady, solid growth with regard to your knowledge of hidden realms and secrets, your knowledge of astrology. You might receive more slow, steady growth over the coming year and expansion. You might get lucky and find yourself an astrology mentor. Jupiter is mentors. Jupiter here can bring you an astrology mentor, or you might discover a new writer who takes you deeper than you've ever been before with metaphysical topics, or understanding witchcraft or the occult or something, ceremony, shamanism. These kinds of things can be really expanded in a steady manifesting way for you right now. You might even be able to start practicing rituals and ceremony that really support you now. And of course, this manifestation is going to be very powerful over the coming week because of this 4-planet stellium energy in the 8th house. So for you guys, just be careful that crisis, isn't the thing that manifests more. I want to encourage you, Gemini rising people, to focus on studying in depth more occult topics. This is the antidote, the higher manifestation, if you want to call it that, of the 8th house. Do therapy now. Therapy is also 8th house. So, go to your, journaling, go to your desk and do some journaling. Go to your therapeutic dance class, or your art therapy class, or your psychological YouTube channel or whatever, and go deep, go within, go do therapy. That's a key to this not manifesting as crisis. So read up on your astrology, read up on your metaphysics, get involved in, do a course in miracles or something that's really sort of more deep, and involve yourself in those things, and you are less likely to see that crisis energy of the 8th house generate for you in a manifested way. I'd also encourage you guys, this is a stellium that's going to trigger 2nd house, and 2nd house, when that gets stirred up, that energy gets stirred up, that's the energy of receiving. It's the energy of 2nd house things, which is money, possessions, pleasures, good times, the resources that support our body's journey through life. So you might get that energy stirred up in your experience in the coming week as well, where maybe you get an opportunity to renovate your home, or you might get a whole new wardrobe, or you get the chance to go have a beauty therapy treatment done, or something really wonderful that can be fun and pleasurable. Go out to a restaurant or whatever, stirred up by this energy of the stellium, making a triggering to the 2nd house of money and resources for living. Now, if you happen to be Capricorn rising, well, this energy is falling in your 7th house. And for Capricorn Cancer people, this is the time when, in fact, this is going to be playing out for the next year or so with all these planets in Capricorn. But from time to time, when you get a personal planet like Venus or Mars will be there soon, and the Sun, when they're all hanging out in Capricorn, this is the year for you guys when you might see a new relationship come into your life. Capricorn, Cancer, if you're Cancer rising, Capricorn is where the stellium is falling, and this is what's being triggered. It might be a new business partner. It might be a new committed relationship. It might be a whole new swathe of clients that come your way, because clients are seen from the 7th house. This is the house of the other other people. So other people in many different shapes and forms are going to come into your life in a big way this year, and they will tend to stick around and they will tend to be in it for the long haul rather than the quick fling. So this is really nice for you guys, has the potential to be really nice. And I want you to focus your energy on bringing in and attracting that through, visualizing what you want in terms of connection and partnership with others in life, business partners or marriage or whatever it happens to be. This, if you visualize and look for and seek out the higher level, that's what will manifest for you in 7th house things. Also, you are going to be expanded as well, because when we have 4 or more planets, a stellium in Vedic astrology, the energy, by transit, the energy is directed to the 1st house as well as the house that it falls in. So you're going to be grown, you're going to be expanded, you're going to become more independent and more powerful. You're going to have the energy of you stirred up, your presence in the world, your incarnation, your ability to survive and thrive and flourish in life. That's what's going to also be stirred up by this stellium. So it is quite a fabulous time for for Cancer rising people. Now, when we're Leo rising, this energy is falling here in the 6th house. The 6th house is a difficult house for a lot of focus and a lot of energy on. So for Leo people, when Jupiter moves into Capricorn and when we've got the stellium in Capricorn, we're going to be more practical now in 6th house matters. And you guys you guys as well as Gemini and Aquarius people need to focus at this time and for the year ahead on the higher qualities of the 6th house, because the 6th house is a difficult house. It's a challenging house. And so you've got to keep your gaze upward to the higher manifestation rather than lower manifestation. Otherwise, what gets stirred up here with the stellium and Jupiter being here is the energy of poverty, disease, sickness, lack. What you want is to generate the better quality, helping people fix those problems in their lives, helping people get better, helping people live in better quality circumstances, doing charity work or service to humanity in some way, helping people learn more, helping people to get a greater level of understanding, having a better health routine in your life and in the lives of others, having good relationships with your employees if you are someone who is an employer. That is something you'll want to stir up the energy of, the higher quality level there as well. And also, this is a house of work, your everyday work that pays the bills. So focusing on doing a good job there, working hard there, growing that realm of your life, that is a higher level thing to focus on too when you've got all this energy in the 6th house. Also, by opposition to the 12th house, you'll also be generating 12th house things. And again, you want to keep this high at a high level. So spiritual life now gets stirred up by all this energy. Your spiritual interest and your spiritual capacity and the desire for a holiday and the need for a holiday might also get stirred up. So take those opportunities. If you feel like I'm so burnt out, take a holiday, take a weekend off, take an extra RDO and just have some time, because you'll need to. This energy of the 12th house is being stirred up for you by this stellium making an opposition, as well as being in the 6th house. So there's going to be more practicality, and this is great because this is a house of practical application where you can serve, you can help, you can heal, you can fix problems for people, you can be that listening ear, you can offer advice, you can better society in practical ways. Now with Jupiter moving in here, you'll see slow, steady growth in your work life if you're manifesting at that higher level, and material growth in your health and well-being, by focusing this energy here, and Jupiter easing off on the intensity of Saturn and Pluto that's been there for the last 2 years or so. If we happen to be Virgo rising, well, this energy is falling for us in the 5th house. 5th house is a lovely house. It's a blessed house. It's a beneficial house. And here, if we are Virgo rising, we're going to get a lot more momentum in this realm of life now when Jupiter moves in here and we have a stellium in this area. So we're going to get more practical. We're going to see more slow and steady growth. We're going to have more material, tangible growth in 5th house things. We might get more fame. We might get more recognition and notoriety in this placement. Now, we might find that we are more practically oriented towards looking after our children and caring for our lover, or having interaction with our lovers, and interactions with our children, having more romance that can be stirred up, and more tangible manifestations of the house of love, the house of hobbies, the house of going out and enjoying yourself. So entertainment is seen from here as well. So these are areas that you might see manifestation and growth and luck and abundance increase, but also the decrease of the restriction and blockage that may have been in this area. It's not going to be nothing. Like, it's not like all the restriction and blockage from Saturn is going to just disappear, but it might just lessen off a bit as things are balanced out with Jupiter, the great benefic, coming in to join the great malefic in the 5th house here. So for you guys, I wouldn't go rushing out to sort of, lay some money on the horses or go to the, casino or anything like that, because Saturn is still here, and he's sort of, squashing that lucky capacity that we usually see in the 5th house. So don't even bother. You're wasting your money and you're wasting your time. Throw yourself into your hobbies instead. Manifest good things in those realms. Throw yourself into spending time with your kids and loving your kids and building up your kids, and your love affairs and relationships. If you focus there, you are going to be really generating good quality energy with this stellium and with Jupiter coming into Capricorn. Also, the house opposite, the 11th house, friendships can now get an injection as this energy becomes powerful. Friendships can get an injection. Your social circles, your networking, you might become more visionary. Your creative force in that visionary realm might really grow. Your desire to work in humanitarian realms as well, and to bring good to society at large can also increase too, as is the nature of the 11th house. More manifestation of your goals and your dreams is possible now as well. If you're Virgo rising, sorry if I called you Leo rising before, I do apologize. Virgo rising people are likely to see more manifestations of their dreams, of their goals, because this is an 11th house activation as well. So you might start to see fulfillment of things you've worked long and hard for now, as this energy generates by opposition to the 11th house. Okay, if we happen to be Libra rising, well, hello, this is going to put this energy in the 4th house for us. And so what this means, it's making an angle to the 1st house, so it can be by square affecting us and our journey through life and the way we move through this incarnation. But more than anything, it's really going to be affecting 4th house things. This is where we can notice we get more desire to be more practical. We need to do stuff. We might see slow, steady growth and prosperity here now once Jupiter's moved into this realm. And we might see more material manifestation because of Jupiter's presence, but also because we have a massive stellium of planets in this realm. And so down here in the 4th house, that's where things are going to be really noticeable now. So it might mean getting, having that new lounge room, built onto your house and extended. That might happen for you now. It might mean a restructuring and a reorganizing of your home life. That's happening for me right now. How is the dynamics of our family life going to work? How are the dynamics of my actual physical day-to-day life in my house going to work? I'm restructuring and reorganizing that, and in a way expanding the experience of my home life through various people coming to live with us, and my children getting to an older state now where they are more independent and so on. So these things are shifting and being restructured in my home life. And I'm Libra moon, so that's why this is influencing and affecting me. And that's how it can play out for you. It might mean renovations, like I said. It might mean changes in the home life dynamic. It might mean different connections with mothers and the maternal line, mother figures. It might mean there's just a real condensing of energy. Home is where the focus is now. It's where all the planetary hoo-ha is going down in the area of home, heritage, roots, and lineage, your family lineage. Not only that, for Libra rising people, we're going to see a more practical manifesting energy play out in the 10th house for us too, where our career really gets an injection of slow, steady growth, where we see practical application playing out, where we see material, tangible results. Because by Vedic principles, when we have a stellium falling in one house of our chart, it will also be activating the sign opposite, or the house opposite. In this case, it's your 10th house of career, social respectability, visibility in society, and being an authority figure. This can bring about some really truly beautiful growth and activation for you in that realm now as well. If we happen to be Scorpio rising, well, we are looking at having this energy play out for us in the 3rd house. And this is where we're going to notice more practicality needed, more realism needed, a sort of a doer approach rather than just sitting back and waiting for it all to happen. We're going to have to need to get active and start taking action and work. This is connected to working hard, Capricorn and Saturn being there. But slow, steady growth can be achieved now in 3rd house realms, as can material growth. So you might start to see manifestation in the 3rd house realm that you haven't in ages. And this could look like suddenly you get a new business, or you establish a new business, because this is the house of trade. It's the house of running your own small business. It's money that you make, that you generate by your own work. So now is the time you might see manifestation in that realm. You might also suddenly, if you happen to have strong Scorpio in your charts, strong Scorpio risings, moon or sun, you might find that you're really, the desire to learn is strong with you now. The opportunity to do some sort of skills training, or read more books, or do more networking, join more social media connections, and they might blossom for you now with all this energy being stirred up in the 3rd house. Your social media connections might just go boom. Maybe you had 200 likes on your Facebook page last week, and next week 2,000. It can work like that. There is a stirring up of energy with 3rd house things: advertising, marketing, communicating, buying, selling, trade, small business, learning, reading, writing, speaking. These are where your opportunities can really grow in a slow, steady, manifesting way for you. You might get the opportunity to teach as well, because the opposite sign is the 9th house for you. And in the Vedic system, when we have a stellium of planets in one sign, it is by opposition activating the sign opposite as well. So, it's 9th house things that can get the go on at the moment. More interest in faith and more exploration of belief and cultural activities, more chances to travel, long overseas trips for the purposes of soul expansion, more connection with mentors and gurus, more chances to perhaps go to university or study something at a really high level that you've always wanted to do can pop into your life now. My encouragement is to seek to manifest these things at a very high level, rather than, letting yourself fall into lower level things. And that's one thing I've been pointing out with the sort of the heavier houses, the difficult houses, the malefic houses, as we might like to refer to them, which is the 6th house, the 8th house, and the 9th house. People who've got this stellium or its opposite falling there have had to they're going to have to watch out to manifest at a high level rather than a lower level. But it goes for us all in some extent. We want to make sure we're focusing on achieving well in these areas, and achieving and directing our energy towards the good things of these houses, so that they bring light and growth and abundance and prosperity, the nature of Jupiter, into our life, rather than restriction, blockage, sadness, etc. So focus more on keeping your mental balance at this time. Saturn here can be generating sort of feelings of heaviness, or not, I can't learn, or my blockages around learning. Jupiter's going to bring some lightness there to that and lighten that up for you, if you listen to my intro, which described the general effects of Jupiter and Saturn. So if you happen to be Scorpio rising, these are the areas where you're going to get a lot of energetic manifestation over the coming months. Okay, if we happen to be Sagittarius rising. Well, Sagittarius rising is going to put this energy of Capricorn stellium and Jupiter moving into Capricorn in the 2nd house. So this is going to be where you are, you're going to be quite blessed, you Sagittarians. This is where you can see practical manifestation now, where the energy gets stirred up, where you will see slow, steady growth over the year ahead while Jupiter is in your second house, where you can see material growth and abundance start to blossom for you. It's not going to happen quick in a sort of sudden way. It will happen slowly, steadily if you work hard towards your second house things. And what are second house things? Creating collections of things, collections of books, collections of shoes, collections of clothes, cars, getting the things that you need that support your body's journey through life are second house things. It is also working on your self-worth and self-value. These are realms where you can really receive a lot of energetic support from the universe now. So you might like to read spiritual books, but equally, you might like to get serious. Capricorn is to be serious about doing some self-work. Do a self-enhancement course or self-growth course of some sort, or you might like to jump on some YouTube channel and start to really grow your sense of self-worth and self-value. This is also a house that's associated with beauty, and I have to tell you, lately I've discovered a wonderful YouTube channel. I'm not going to tell you which one that it is, but I found this fabulous YouTube channel for older women who want to look younger into their older years, and it has just changed my life. And so it's this kind of thing, this energy gets stirred up in the second house of beauty, that you might discover a YouTube channel that changes your life and how you dress and how you do your makeup, or how you take care of yourself and honor yourself and care for yourself. It's this YouTube channel I've found has been a real inspiration for me to do better at taking care of me and honoring me and giving myself some self-love. So hopefully you find that too if you are Sagittarius rising, and this is your the energy that's playing out for you, the chance to have more self-love, self-care, beauty, orientation towards making more money even as well. These things are important now because that's where the energy of creation and manifestation is falling for you in your chart. Not only that, but the 8th house is being activated by opposition too from the stellium. Remember, in Vedic astrology, when we have 4 or more planets in a single sign, then we get activation to the sign that it's in and also the sign opposite. So this is going to mean activation of 8th house energy for you. I want to encourage you to manifest at a high level so that you don't generate 8th house crisis in your life, but rather you generate perhaps more interest and introspection into your own psychology, and again, that will go hand in hand with your own self-worth and self-valuing as well. So look at going deep with perhaps some psychological analysis, or getting stuck into your looking at your psyche, or maybe journaling and understanding, doing some therapy, doing some dance therapy, art therapy, music therapy, speaking with a therapist if you feel that you really need to go down that road, then that's a good thing as well. Maybe even something like doing some Tai Chi or some yoga that's very spiritually based. You're doing this energetic work, but it's very much about the alignment of the chakras and centering and connection to spirit and the divine. This is a house connected to energy work and energy healing. So get into that. If that's your thing. That's manifesting 8th house energy at a higher level than allowing crisis to come rushing in and disrupt your whole life. So do those sorts of things, therapy and healing work, or studying astrology, studying occult things, studying mysticism or shamanism. Getting invested in those things is also going to channel the energy into more positive realms for you also. If you happen to be Capricorn rising, well, hello you guys, it's in your first house. So everything's going to shift for you guys. This is quite a powerful time. It's certainly not every day that you will have these planets connecting in your sign. Now, if you didn't listen to my intro explaining what's going on with these planets, please do, because it's going to give you guys, particularly you Capricornian guys, more insight, more understanding, and more knowledge about what is playing out for you. Everything I said in the intro is you bang on, okay? It's what you're going to experience more than any other sign, because this is all falling in the first house, your rising sign, the sign of you and your incarnation in this particular lifetime. So just in general, we're going to see more manifestation, more creation energy. We're going to see slow and steady growth, more practicality happening, and need for sort of practical hard work that results in good rewards. This is what we're generating now, and it's happening for you in the first house, which is correlated to your ability to thrive and survive in the world, your ability to be independent and assertive, to be a little bit selfish, to focus on you for a change, and self-care and self-love, your ability to journey through this lifetime with confidence and focused on your well-being. This is where this manifestation energy is going to fall, but equally it's going to fall on the other people in your life, because in Vedic astrology, when you have 4 or more planets creating a stellium in a single sign, it stirs up the energy of that particular house and sign, as well as the energy of the house and sign opposite. So if you are a Capricorn rising person and you have been looking for a committed partnership for many years now, this is the era that you might find something manifests for you, because of the stirring up of energy in the house of you and your journey through life, as well as the stirring up of energy of life partners, committed life partners, but also business partners, clients, other people in general. So it's Capricorn and Cancer people that are most likely to find themselves committed life partners in the year ahead, particularly in the first few months of 2020, beginning kind of now, because of the intensity of these outer planets connecting in their first house. And for you guys now, you've got Venus there, planet of love. Love can come to you now while Venus is part of this stellium, activating your first house of you, as well as by opposition, the 7th house of other people, partners, committed relationships. So good news for you guys, but I want to encourage you, manifest this stuff at a high level. If you get all worried about it, because Saturn can bring you a lot of worries when he's in your first house, and fears, if you're activating Saturn at a lower level, I want to encourage you to activate him at a high level. Believe, trust, use that Jupiter energy. Trust that good things are coming, and focus, visualize, do some imagination work about visualizing being in a partnership. What does that look like? What does that feel like? How good is it? If you're single and you're looking for partnership, or if you're in a marriage relationship and it really sucks, visualize how good it could look and what you would like it to look like. Get with the energy that's happening now to manifest at a higher level. With this, manifest a good relationship, not a mediocre one. If you've got a relationship that's fabulous, take it to the next level, go for that tantric level of connection with a partner. Go higher is my encouragement to all you Capricorn people. And we know that you guys are really good at aiming high and going for the top levels. So do that now. Visualize the kind of relationship you want. Visualize what your life journey should look like according to you, what you want it to look like. Start visualizing that, and in a positive, create some positive vibrations and positive energies around those visualizations, and that's how you can really generate this energy to really support you and bring you what you long for now. If we happen to be Aquarius rising, well, I know that a lot of you guys are going through a tough period now. I have quite a few Aquarius rising friends, and nearly all of them, I have to say, are dealing with getting rid of some sort of addiction because of all this energy in the 12th house. And I really want to speak to you now, Aquarius rising people, about what's going on. You've had the planet of past life trauma and the planet of heavy-duty past life fear sitting in the house of past life stuff. So for you guys, gosh, I actually feel really teary just going here, but you guys have been dealing with past life trauma and fears that need to be purged like no other sign. This is a once in 500 year connection of Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, which for you guys happens to be your 12th house. You've incarnated to go through this. You have come here at this time to experience the purging, the releasing, the letting go of the karma that has held you back, maybe for lifetimes, maybe for 500 years, who knows, since last these two were together in Capricorn. But you're here with a purpose. And what I want to say about this is this stellium is here to help you, to purge this, to release this, to let go of the addictions, to let go of the past life karma, and be free as Aquarius longs to be and deserves to be. That's what Aquarius wants, is freedom. This is going to help you get there, but it comes through pain, I've got to say. And I know you guys have been suffering this for quite some time now, since Saturn joined Pluto in here, probably since Pluto moved in 2008. This has begun. But now you've got a stellium here that's going to help you let go of this. And you've got Jupiter moving into this sign that's going to take the edge off. Jupiter's going to sort of lift the game a little bit so that it's not quite so, acid in your veins kind of experience that you're going through. Venus will also be there, bringing love, bringing pleasure, bringing kindness to this experience. And I want to encourage you, Aquarians, to focus on the higher quality of the 12th house. Yep, I know you're going through this massive purging process. Needs to happen. It's going to set you free. It's cyclical. A year or two and you are going to be new people like you've never known before. It's going to be so good because all this will have been excreted out of your life. But for now, how do you get through it? You focus on the higher level of the 12th house. Take time out. If you need a holiday, take a holiday. If you need to do Julia Roberts, eat, pray, love, then get out of town. Go to Italy, eat pasta, then go to an ashram, then go to Bali. Do it all. This is the time, the energetic time for you to do this stuff like never before. This is for you. So don't fight it. Don't think, I've got to stick my boots in and keep working at this dead-end job because I've got to pay the bills. It's just going to drown your soul. If you can manage it, and I wish there were more places where we could retreat and escape to in the world that didn't cost an arm and a leg and absolutely kill us financially to do so. And if anyone knows of places that you can do that, please list them in the comments, because we want to support and help people go through their cycles of astrological influence as best we can. One of my dreams is to produce a venue like that at some point in my life, God willing, for people who are going through the dark night of their soul. But for you guys right now, the key is to focus on spirituality. Read your spiritual books, go meditate at an ashram, go hang out at the local Buddhist stupa, do spiritual work, do spiritual courses, have an escape plan, once a week I go to my day spa and I have a foot rub, or I have a massage, or I have a facial. I do some sort of escaping work every week. You must do this to keep your balance now and to get through this difficult time. It will end. You must know it will end. Keep your balance by escaping, doing spiritual work, or getting stuck into creativity. Certainly when I went through my divorce, I'm highly 12th house Pisces kind of person. It was through art and painting out, my sorrow or my epiphanies in bazillions of paintings that I just did. That was cathartic. So do those sorts of things. Get creative, get spiritual, have an escape, have a holiday, and you will, seek out healing for your soul now. And you can get through this time of purging and releasing addictions, past life karma, hurts, woundings, fears that have got to go. So I just want to send you guys love, because I know this is a tough period for you. And I want to tell you it is going to end. Keep doing the work. You will get there. You can do this. And energetically, I and hopefully all my viewers, we've got your back. We're here for you guys, you Aquarians who've been going through rough periods. I also want to point out, this is a time when you can manifest in reality. Even though this is a highly spiritual, ethereal house, it's an earth house for you. You can manifest in reality. You will see growth, steady, slow growth over the next year in this realm. Growth of your spiritual muscles, growth of your creativity, growth of your ability to retreat and escape without losing, going crazy, thinking I've got to do this and my kids need me here and I've got to earn money there. You'll be able to grow your ability to escape, maybe even have a room of your own at home to escape into, a meditation space or a yoga space or something where this is my realm where I escape. Maybe that might manifest for you over the coming year ahead. Particularly when the moon goes into Capricorn, that might really generate something in your home that could be supportive. So that's for you guys in the 12th house. Also, in Vedic astrology, a stellium in a single sign, that's 4 planets or more, will stir up the energy of that particular realm of the chart, as well as the realm opposite. In this case, it's the 6th house. So if you get the opportunity to do some service, do some charity work, give back, be kind, support others who are less well off than you, fix problems, get healthy, get a good diet, somehow organize your work life to be supportive of you. Now is the time to do that. You've got this stellium energy stirring up those things in your chart. That's the higher level of manifestation of 6th house energy, to serve, to help, to fix, to perfect. Focus on those things. You will be benefited greatly from doing that right now, as this energy is interacting in a very powerful way for you. All right, finally, for Pisces rising people, my love to you, beautiful Pisces people. We, as Pisces rising people, have this energy falling in the 11th house. Jupiter is leaving our 10th house, and I'm really sad to see her go, I should say. Jupiter's been so kind to me while he's been in my 10th house. I hope he's done the same for you. But this is a house of rewards and gains. For those of us with Pisces rising, we've experienced sort of a Saturn blockage maybe like I certainly in my life, friends, I have a few close friends, but having a close-knit circle of friends around me in my community has been non-existent since Saturn moved into Capricorn. All my friends live about 2 hours away from where I do, and so getting together and going out for coffee, it just doesn't happen, But Saturn's been calling me to work hard on my goals and my dreams and my ambitions now. And that's the focus. So it's cyclical, we'll get our friends back eventually. But right now we've been called to work hard on our goals and dreams when Saturn is in Capricorn. Jupiter moving into Capricorn is going to lighten things up just a little in that area. Maybe we will get that one special friend we can go for coffee with now. Things can get a bit lighter and not so intense now that Jupiter moves in here. We can manifest in a more practical, material way. We can create more with our goals and our dreams and our friendships and our networks now. We can see results for our efforts start to blossom. It's like we might have been through the winter time in terms of rewards, gains, accolades, honors. And now Jupiter moves into Saturn, and it's like the little daffodil bulbs just poke up their little shoots above the wintry frozen ground, and we start to see more results and rewards for our efforts now that Jupiter comes and joins Saturn and Pluto here in the sign of Capricorn. But not only that, so we're going to see more results now start to come our way, more rewards, more manifestation of the tangible things, the earthly practical things based on what we've been working on over the last year with Jupiter in our house of career. So this is good stuff. Also right now though, this is going to last for a year, Jupiter, but right now Saturn, Pluto, Venus, Jupiter, the two benefics, and the South Node, they've got a stellium going on in our 11th house. And as I said in the intro to this video, whenever we have a stellium of planets in one sign, it stirs up the energy of that sign. It creates manifestation. It creates a special spiritual mission and focus for us. Our focus now is receiving rewards, creating networks, interacting in social groups and social situations. We can be more progressive, more visionary. We have a dream and a goal. We're more about freedom now. Freedom for ourselves and more authenticity and more truth. So lots of good stuff is coming now as the energy in this beautiful Upachaya house that gets better and better and better the older that we get, gets stirred up and activated now. So we're going to see lots of good activation and potential come our way now for our Pisces rising. Not only that, but in Vedic astrology, when we have a stellium in one realm of the sky, it is by opposition activating the opposite realm, the opposite house. And for us, that's the 5th house. Yay, I could cry. Love, children, hobbies, creative expression now gets amplified through this energetic opposition that stirs up the energy and brings the blessing of the 5th house to us. The 5th house is the second most fortunate house in the horoscope. The most fortunate is actually the 9th house, but 5th house is second because both of these houses make a trine to our ascendant, to who we are, to our journey through this incarnation, to us. So through this being activated, we are receiving blessing. Through this opposition, we are getting the blessing. Our soul, our journey, our experience is being blessed. And this might mean love enters your life, more romance, it just grows and expands, or there's a manifestation of romance and pleasure, or more creative opportunities, that like never before. You might suddenly, like I'm always coming up with, creative ideas for how to share and teach and grow astrology in the community, in the world at large. And I might just get a big download now of that energy stirred up in me and how to be more creative with my astrology work. Your connection with children can be blessed and increased and grow too. So you might find that, your children blossom, or your children manifest something now. So I see it mostly as being positive because it's not sending, Saturn's been sending like restriction and blockage to his sign and the sign opposite. Now Jupiter's allowing a bit of space there, a bit of lightness there, a bit of opening up. And of course the stellium energy means more creativity, more focus, more energetic intent on these realms for us. So this is good stuff, I feel, for humanity right now, especially for you guys as Pisces rising people. So thanks for sticking with me for a rather long look at the weather, the astro weather this week. It's been lovely to join with you again. I do hope you join me next week. Don't forget to subscribe if you would like more astro weather each week, as well as special lessons, free astrology lessons that I like to provide, so you learn more about astrology and how it applies to your life. I will just close with a prayer. Energy of universal love, thank you for this incarnation that we are all in to experience the stellium in Capricorn that's playing out right now. It is rare and it is precious. We pray that we manifest at a high level with it so that we can receive the goodness that is promised in this stellium and the blessing that is waiting for us if we choose to activate our free will and operate at that high vibrational level. So help us to see ways to do that. May our clarity of vision be there for us so that we know how to enact this higher level of love and receive the blessing of the planets in Capricorn at this time. And so it is. Thanks so much for joining me. I love to speak to you every week about astrology, and I hope to see you again next week.